Unravel the chilling mystery of Lilly and Jack Sullivan's unexplained disappearance from Nova Scotia. Are we getting closer to the truth?
Key points, and then I'm just gonna blast y'all with information. And don't make me give you a quiz at the end, because if I quiz you, I don't know how good you're gonna do. There's lots of information in today's episode. Shorty Pie, good to see you. I thought everyone forgot about this case. Nope, just hours ago, there was updates from RCMP. I always watch the case and I see all the junk. And when I see the junk, it just makes me want to dig in and get to the facts. So that's what we're going to do today. Listen quickly here. If you don't know anything about this case, I'll catch you up in 2.2 seconds. Lilly Sullivan, 6, Jack Sullivan, 4, went missing from Canada, Nova Scotia, May 2nd, 2025, from Lansdowne Station in Nova Scotia, Canada. Their mother reported hearing them playing that morning, but when she woke up, they were gone. Now, her mother and Daniel Martell, the stepdad, I don't think they're married, but, you know, he, with that role, also inserted himself into this case quite a bit and has changed his story several times. Now, authorities launched an extensive search immediately, deploying ground crews, helicopters, drones, and police dogs. But they never put cadaver dogs in there. Now, people were asking, and Daniel Martell kept asking for cadaver dogs. Now, I'm going to assume that he did that. He asked for cadaver dogs because he knows, they know, I believe Daniel Martell and Malaya hold the key like Chris and Katie do. All right. I think he's more than flaky, but that's what we're going to talk about today. And thank you, Angel. It's all worth it if I get one. Your haircut looks awesome, Jay. All right, so listen here. I just filled you in quickly. Now, they did all the searches, but they did not have an Amber Alert. It didn't meet their criteria. Law enforcement does not believe that they just walked away, even though they said it a few times. I have very contradictory information in not only the affidavit, you guys, but also in the court filings. There's lots of information that will say much different. So I might just show you the screen real quick so you guys aren't not really hearing what I'm saying about this. All right, so they went missing, everything happened, Daniel interjected himself, and as this case rolled out, they didn't release affidavits, court documents. They had to be dug out of there. So I do have the affidavit that I just want you to look at quickly. I do not have time to read it all today. I might be doing a part 2 on this tomorrow because there's so much information. All right. I'm much better. I am much better. I don't know if I'm going to be on here tomorrow. Mama Pearl's coming to visit. She should be here around 4:00 right when I stream. So if I stream tomorrow, it's going to be at like 2:00, but I'll let you guys know for sure. So listen here. And thank you guys for rolling on in, hitting that like button and being part of the crew. All right. So I kind of brought you back for a second about everything that happened. All right. Ground searches, despite 6 days of searching, RCMP announced that the likelihood of children being found alive, now this was back in May of 2025, was very, very low. All right. They haven't really had much of an update until yesterday. So I dug into the affidavit, guys, and I got to tell you, the affidavit that was filed by RCMP, it obtains warrants for accessing the children's mother's and stepfather's cell phone and bank records. All right. It has the results of the polygraph test administered to the main players and the family members. It also has reports from witnesses who may have seen the children. Now, the seizure of the items during the search, including the children's toothbrushes. And then there's some key documents in the court filings that you guys haven't got to see. All right. And yeah, you guys can, you know, all game RCMP's a joke, 100%. But well, listen, you might say that today as well, again, because I feel like this case, it feels like this whole case is a joke somebody's playing on us. All right. So good to see you guys. Come on in before I start getting into too many details and people say, hey, Jay, what the hell happened? What's up, Jody? Good to see you. Bree, there's a fine details on those docs I've read 20 times now. Well, I'm glad that you have, because you know what? I dug those up today and it was really hard to find. yeah, I'll leave that up for a second. The documents are all redacted and really hard to find. So let me just put this up real quick while I talk to you. I do have the documents. I'll probably put them up on Ghost just so you can get a hold of them and not have to dig like I did. Now, in these documents, these are the ones that talk about and show you, which I'm not going to go over all today, but this is the state of, I don't know why that says that up there. This is, why are they giving me this one? Let me pull this down. This is the wrong one. I don't know what they had there. Let me put this back up. I'll put the other one. I put the wrong one, but listen, court filings and affidavits are important so you can see the actual records. The affidavit that I pulled up, inside of it, and the person that just said they read it 20 times has all the search warrants for the cell phone, bank records, polygraph results, witnesses that made statements, and the seizure of the different items, including the toothbrushes. Now, quickly, court filings. All right, let's talk about the court filings that nobody's talking about. Nobody's looking at these details. The court filings talk about the household. They show the household items that investigators collected, the everyday objects from the Sullivan family home, including bedding, clothing, electronics. All of those were forensically tested to check for trace evidence, although they haven't said much. Pink blanket fragments. I don't know if you guys noticed that there were two separate pink blanket fragments that were collected. We heard about one, but we did not hear about two. Hey, lady, love your show. Praying for these two kids. Pray for my son, Wes. Oh no, he just passed away. He was 48. Well, you guys, if you guys can pray for Wes, pray for Wes. I'll keep that up for a moment. Okay. Say a prayer for Wes that passed away way too soon. I'm 46 years old. Wes was 48. That's just not right. All right. It's just not right at all. I'll try to send it. I've had hard times in the past sending them to people and not being able to open them. Well, I'm pretty good with documents and things. You could try to send it over. And yeah, I'll leave that up there while we talk about this. Now, listen. So the household items that we talked about, they have them. They're two separate pink blanket fragments that I don't know if you know about. Police recovered both, and they believed to be Lily's. One found earlier in the search near a wooded trail, and another one later discovered in the trash, according to filings. Now, why would someone throw away evidence? All right. Now, also digital and financial records, guys. The affidavit shows police sought their phone records, banking, and surveillance. But what's happening? And that's helping to reconstruct the movements and put timelines. Also, polygraph examinations. There were at least 4 polygraph tests administered to mother Malaya, stepfather Daniel, and biological father Cody Sullivan. The documents noted that the results indicated they were truthful in their responses. Although, guys, that happens. And that's why they don't use these documents necessarily in court, because after all the info that I've been gathering and looking at, Daniel Martell he's a mathematician. All right. He's a mathematician. He possibly cooks it and uses it. And when you see him in this next video, you'll say the same thing. You're going to say, how can he be so calm? Look at his breathing pattern. Look at his eyes. Look at the way, just look at his tones, everything. It's worse than just body language. It's body language. It's the analysis. It's everything that's mixed up in this case. All right. Bless the babies. Absolutely. All right. Other evidence that was seized was children's toys, bedding, personal effects, and they were all logged in with the search warrants and DNA. Well, where are they? What's happening with this? All right. Hours ago. Let's start with this.
5 months after Jack and Lily Sullivan vanished, their stepfather Daniel Martell says he continues to search for answers and cooperate with police. That included when Cadaver Dogs recently came to his property.
I come home and the dogs were already, on scene, and they were there for about an hour before I got there. I didn't know the exact day when the arrival was going to happen.
And this, we're going to go over this interview. This is just a quick update from yesterday on the things that happened in the search. Now just watch his body language a little bit. And just because I think he's a mathematician doesn't mean I'm calling him anything worse with the big M. I'm not calling him that. I'm not saying that. One thing doesn't have to be true for the other thing to be true. But yeah, Ashton, look at his teeth. Look at his breathing patterns. Look at how he moves. Look at his clothes. He tries to be Rico Suave. He wants the attention, guys. He wants attention. He wants to appeal to the ladies. We've seen him all over recently on the Drunk Turkey show, which I have a clip of, all 8 minutes without any distractions. So we're going to go over that as well. He's all over the place, inserting himself into the case. So one thing doesn't have to be true to be the other, right? Daniel, the mathematician, just give us these beautiful babies, all right? He's a mathematician, but again, I'm not saying one thing has to connect to the other, but Mighty Mo, I agree with that. Let's get into this. We have enough for 2 episodes today, but I don't have the time for that.
So
Hold on,
it was even a surprise to me, like, but at the end of the day,
yeah,
everything's ruled out there, and
Suave.
I hope this speculation, turns elsewhere.
2 dogs trained to detect human remains were brought in from British Columbia the week of September 22nd. They spent about 3 days searching a total of 40 kilometers for evidence.
Now remember, we're on October 9th, 2025. All right. What's up, Queen? I'm feeling much better. Yeah, you guys, there's a lot. You guys are gonna be like, whoa, how did I miss that? Or yeah, good looking out, Jay. Yeah. Now I see it. All right.
Evidence of the 2 missing children.
They didn't locate any human remains or anything associated to this file or any open files.
Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon is the officer in charge of major crime and behavior.
Now, this is just a preview of what we're going to get into today. All of this we're going to get into. These are all just clips put together. That's laying this out for you. And I promise, I don't think any one of you will be bored by any of this. All right. I've been doing this. Man, there's a lot.
Behavioral Sciences in Nova Scotia. He says the dogs scoured the Lansdowne property where the siblings lived. They also sniffed the woods where a pink blanket was previously found and a nearby pipeline and intersecting trails. He wouldn't confirm whether people were questioned during the latest search, but Martell tells CBC one of the RCMP dog handlers had tough questions for him about the day before the children disappeared.
Hey man, maybe I should tell him too, when you're into mathematics, it might be worth taking out a mirror and some clippers too. Just saying. I just can't help it. Sorry. He's everywhere. Every channel that's covering this that I turn on, there's Daniel either in chat or trying to get an interview. All right. So I'm just doing a little bit of clowning on him just to lighten it up. But bro, get yourself some clippers, man. You missed the back there. Come on. Let's go. Get it done.
He said that
he's trying to
Thursday
do the
didn't have enough details, and we think you did something to the kids Thursday night. I said to him that Thursday was just an ordinary day until I woke up on Friday morning. And that's when,
if you completely are new to this case, like Nettie, that's Daniel Martell. That's the other person that I believe holds the key to where Jack and Lily, I should say that where their bodies are at this point.
like, life changed.
Martell says the Cadaver Dog searched inside his trailer.
Exactly.
And police even looked under his deck. McCammon says his team is prepared to keep working on this case until it's solved.
And in my opinion, what we're going to get into next is that Daniel knows everything, and that's why he's confident about what he's saying. You could certainly say they're not here. Come on, I've been asking you to bring the Cadaver Dogs to come check. They're not there. In my opinion, he knows where they are.
This is not something that we stop working on. We've got 2 young children, Lily and Jack, who've gone missing from their home, and it is a Missing Persons Act investigation still at this time. But we need to find answers to that. There's a lot of legitimate public concerns about how 2 children go missing and we can't find them. So we're going to continue until we have answers.
And listen, guys, the RCMP are not telling us half of what they know, and they don't have to.